And joining me now is the mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser. Mayor Bowser, thank you so much for being here. This is the nightmare that Tim Kaine, that Tim Kaine really literally prophesied and these senators worried about. Has there been any communication between the Congress and you, who, this is D.C.'s airport, about the crowded skies? Anyone who lives in the DMV can see how crowded they are.
Well, absolutely. And I have, during that reauthorization process, worked with the delegation. Of course, our delegation has 4 senators instead of 6 senators because we don't have any in Washington, D.C. But I have worked with the delegation on our concerns, and our Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton has as well. I am very pleased that the delegation has asked the Department of Defense to halt the helicopter traffic and put a pause on that while this matter is investigated. But you point to, in a very comprehensive way, Joy, what the stakes are and the look that we have to see, whether it's during the FAA reauthorization or in another process, how the traffic or additional traffic is determined at Reagan National.
I mean, you pointed out that D.C. does not have a senator, which emphasizes the way in which our capital is essentially treated as a colony, with its fate in the hands of Congress. And so when you think about that, and the billionaires who have funded to make sure that D.C. cannot be a state, it does sort of point to the powers that could have been, right, to determine D.C.'s own fate. Please feel free to comment on that, or if you'd like, on President Donald Trump quipping that he would not visit the site of this horror because, quote unquote, do you want me to take a swim, which is what he said yesterday.
Well, let me say this. I did visit the site as close as I could get to it at Bolling Air Force Base, or Joint Base Bolling, the night that it happened, where our fire and EMS, police department, and agencies from around our region were responding to frigid temperatures and a dark night, trying to rescue people and recover people. And they're going to stay out there for as long as it takes. And as far as our work with our Congresswoman and our federal delegation, we're going to keep fighting to make sure that the interest of Washingtonians who are flying, our visitors, our business people, our members of Congress, and everybody who visits Washington, D.C. is safe. And so I think that there are some other, Washington, D.C. is unique, and there's some peculiarities, especially as it relates to how slots are added at Reagan National Airport. And that warrants a deep, deep discussion. And I hope that, and I'm counting on our regional delegation to push that point even before the next reauthorization bill.
Let me ask you, I'm just going to show this. I want to show this because, we broadcast from the DMV here. And this is just a map showing DCA and all the air traffic that's just in real time over the evening. And I think you have to actually be here to understand how you really cannot not see planes in the air anywhere in Maryland, Virginia, or the district. It's just so crowded. Have you had that conversation with Delegate Holmes Norton or with the senators? That law that was passed, which every non-D.C. resident, people from Texas and Oklahoma and all over the country, voted to make that traffic worse. Have you had a conversation about maybe that law being revisited?
Absolutely. And we intend to have it more. Already, I have been in contact with the senators. We started that conversation in our briefing at the airport. But it is going to take more than us. I had an opportunity also to chat with the senators from Kansas, where this flight originated. And we are all going to have to hold lawmakers accountable for making the right decisions for the flying public, not just to have more convenient flights. Obviously, we want as many direct flights to Washington, D.C. As possible and as is safe. But we have to take a step back and make sure that anything that's being added is being added with the input of flying in aviation experts, in that they are informing the lawmaking process.
Well, I will just say, and I'll put this on me, not you, D.C. should be a state. There are more people living in D.C. than I believe in Wyoming, and I think it deserves to have full representation.
2 states.
We appreciate
more than in 2 states.
Certainly. More than in 2, and there you have it. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser, thank you so much.